Hello everyone, Marianne here from Revealing Light Tarot. How are you? Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. Okay, where do I start? Well, today's going to be around the January the 6th insurrection. I feel that's where the action is. Of course, another swag of contempt of Congress, or we're seeing that play out with Mark Meadows and co. We're also seeing more subpoenas coming out for Trump's inner circle. So there are a few questions. Of course, the perennial one is, will Bannon go to jail, which some would argue is where he belongs. Let's take a look at Mark Meadows, because I got a big draw to him that, you know, he does not want to be on that stand, because he was very much in that conduit role around the planning of what turned out to be an insurrection. He would very much link, you know, the Proud Boys visiting the White House, supposedly for a tour. You know, that wouldn't have gone. That would not have gone on without Meadows knowing about it, if there was that meeting with the ex-president. With Rolling Stone has come out with some massively good reporting, and what, you know, some pundits are saying, well, if Rolling Stone can do this, how come the Congress, the House investigation isn't releasing these bombshells? Well, the fact is they're just not talking about it publicly. When I mean they have the information, but they're not, they're keeping their powder dry. Why would they be talking about things when they're in the middle of a very serious investigation of an attempted insurrection and an attempt to overturn the elections? So Rolling Stone has reported links between the organisers of the rally stopped off, according to text messages, allegedly, and visited the White House, linking, of course, organisers with, I think it's Women for America's Future. I can't remember the actual group, but it is, I think it's Creamer is her name. She and her daughter were one of the major organisers of the rally. Then we've got texts from Kimberly I was going to say Gargle, but I won't say that. Kimberly Guilfoyle. But when she did that, the best is yet to come. She was a scary gargle. That's where that's coming from. I can't get that image out of my head. And she talks about fundraising for the rally and wanting her slice of the podium, and you know, you get a real insight into this kind of grifting, I guess, energy, which is no different to Tucker Carlson following Kyle Rittenhouse around for the big expose. Now, on that, I want to say that we know that there has been justice done in the Albury case. Thank God. Thank God for that. And the prosecutor there, kudos to that prosecutor. Makes you wonder about the Rittenhouse prosecutor. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But such a good result there. But justice has not been done for the young adults that were killed at the barrel of Kyle Rittenhouse's AR-15. So, getting back to January the 6th, because all of this is the same sort of energy. Apparently they used phones that I think they're called burner phones, which actually can be tossed away. You know, it's like you look at the espionage type movies and they're all carrying around, you know, these mobile phones that don't have any connection with them. They just buy them, and then when they're finished with them, they throw them away, supposedly so they're not trackable. However, the mobile phone suppliers, the telecoms, already have the data trail. So I don't know that it's going to help them much. But the question needs to be asked, if they were doing that, why? If what they were doing was so above the board, why were they trying to hide it? Why are they still trying to hide it? So, without too much more commentary, or it's an introduction, it's a setting of the scenes. Let's get started to the card pulling. I'll also be using my Kipper deck as well on Mark Meadows. So, let's take a look at the question. Everybody wants to know, will Bannon go to jail? Just a few cards. Will Bannon go to jail? So, these two things have come out. He may go to jail if not for contempt of Congress, but because of his relationship with somebody else, the deal that he did. You give me a pardon, I will help you with something else. The insurrection, the conspiracy. Now we have the Hermit Card, which is, one of the meanings can be introspection. He's under review. Who by? The FBI, the DOJ, the Hierophant, the government. He's under review. He's under investigation. He's been singled out. They didn't muck about. They referred that criminal contempt charge over to DOJ. And we've got the Ace of Wands. I think this goes with these cards. Plans that he made with other people. And then we've got the Justice card here. So, what's at the base of the pack? My feeling is he's going to be caught up in, ultimately, jail sentences for those that attempted to overturn a fair and authenticated and democratic election. Something is ending for him, and we've got the Ten of Wands. It is the help that he gave, and there's also money issue here as well. How is he living? What is he being paid? Who is funding Bannon? Okay, and what are they funding for? But this is the help. You give me a pardon, I'll help you with the attempt to overturn an election. That's my feeling on Bannon. So yes, I do think he will eventually go to jail. All right, let's take a look at Mark Meadows' future through the Kipper deck. He is one that I feel is a central player in all this. Any thoughts that Meadows was decent kind of went out the door when he was dancing around the television screen as the marauding insurrectionists were breaking into the Capitol. Remember those? They were watching on as this all played out. I'm going to bring the laptop down for this. With the Kipper, what goes behind the main male, which is Meadows. Meadows in the red tie is what's in the past, and then the middle line is the present, and then the line closest to me is what we can expect to see in the future. So tuning into Mark Meadows' energy via the Kipper deck, what will Mark Meadows be indicted or even turn snitch? Give evidence over? Show me what's in Mark Meadows' future, please, in relation to these scenarios. What is in Mark Meadows' future in relation to these scenarios? So he did help in the planning. I'm seeing him with a map, and he could have given his knowledge of Congress. I see a pointer in his hand. Initially, I thought it was like, what are they called? When you measure angles. Initially I thought it was that, but he's definitely looking at a map. All right, back to the reading. All right, show me Mark Meadows' future in relation to the January 6th insurrection. A lot of these people, their self-worth isn't strong. Otherwise they wouldn't be tied up with Trump. Show me Mark Meadows' future, please. All right, so in the past we've got poverty. I don't know where Mark came from, but we've also got coffin ending. So, I don't know what his background is. I think he might have been some sort of salesman before, was he? No. Was he an insurance salesman? Anyway, we've got poverty and the end of poverty. So, Of course, they go into politics to do just that. Now, we have a message of concern. Okay, so, you know, let's keep going. That could mean a lot of things. A message of concern. Did they call Meadows? Again, I'm jumping timelines here. Did they call Meadows at the time of the insurrection from within the Capitol, trying to get Trump to do something? People have died, poverty. He's conflicted. Meadows is conflicted. Now we've got occupation. Okay, so occupation, his job. Now that's all in the past. The conflictions are in the past. So we've got, he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth, I don't think. But we've also got endings and message of concern, which ties him directly to somebody phoning him and saying people are going to die. But we've got his occupation, his job, how he makes his living. And we've got thoughts here. Where were his thoughts? Who were his thoughts on a woman? Now, one of the questions I'm going to jump to next is, were there members of Congress, candidates, QAnon particularly candidates, placed in there, A, to spy on the rhinos, as Trump, ex-president, calls them, and or to aid in any sort of overturning of the election? Because this goes back not just to November, not just to December, not just to, October. This goes back to when the ex-president started putting plans into place should things not go his way. By the way, DeJoy looks like he's on his way out. Let's keep going. So there's his thoughts were on or are on a woman. Now, is this the members of Congress like Lauren Boebert, and others, something that he knows about to do with a woman that he is thinking about? Let's see what's in the future. Child. He could even be thinking, I don't know, Meadows, family situation. Could even be thinking of his family. The child comes forward with some sort of innocence. Yes, official person. Somebody is already interviewing him, or could be, interviewing him. His thoughts may be on others, and then we get unexpected income. At the base of the pack, adjudication, yeah, he's well and truly in the frame. Meadows is well and truly in the frame. All of them have been or are being paid still. But it looks like he's been interviewed by the DOJ or the FBI. We wouldn't necessarily know about that. There's something around the funding as well that he either knows about or has information about. Adjudication and despair. It's like he knows the game's up. Meadows knows the game's up. One way or another, Meadows knows that, Rolling Stone can produce this evidence. What else is the FBI? What else do they have? I'll have to do some personal looking around on Meadows, his family, his early beginnings. But that's the reading on him. Now I did in an earlier reading, I did get a real draw that Boebert may have been one of the plants. Let's take a look quickly. Was Lauren Boebert, let's cut the deck and freshen the energies up. Was Lauren Boebert and other candidates, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you name them, was Boebert, let's see, Boebert, Queen of Wands is jumping out. That's fire energy, fire signs, usually associated with Sagittarius, Aries, but a fire sign, a plan, a project, something that takes something forward. Was Lauren Boebert. Were there members of Congress elected in 2020 who were plants, either to spy on the GOP or to aid in any sort of insurrection. They may have even been unwitting. So we have the Biden card, King of Cups here, challenged by the Seven of Coins, Plan B. Plan A doesn't work, we go to Plan B. Queen of Swords. Okay, so this is a plan. It's logical. Air energy. Queen of Swords. She doesn't muck around. I don't get this is Bobbert. I don't get that. But this looks like sort of truth coming out. Truth emerging. In the past, we have the Eight of Wands, bolts of lightning coming out of the sky. Things happening very, very quickly. What is crowning this is victory. Victory. Look at this. I mean, if that doesn't smack of insurrection energy, I don't know what is. Page of Swords, the spy in the camp. I have my answer. That's the outcome card on a short pull like this. Page of Swords, yes, Boba definitely was. It's consistent with the result I got in an earlier reading. If Plan A doesn't work, Plan B comes into the frame, and we have the Seven of Cups, smoke screens, illusion, some kind of illusionary Houdini type. For who? The King of Pentacles. So at the base of the pack is justice. They're already onto it. The government is already onto it. And the Chariot card. I don't necessarily worry about these spies in the camp, because I feel if they participated in the insurrection, they will be outed. So even though they're full of bluster right now, behind that, there's a lot that they're hiding. All right, let's one last pull. The burner phones. It's just getting closer and closer. You know, the joy slowing down the mail-in ballots. The various other, I guess, measures that the ex-president tried to employ before the election to swing things in his favour. I mean, polls and, you know, his advisors would have been telling him that Biden would have likely to have won. But he co-opted, as he does with everyone, co-opted willing. They didn't do this unwillingly. People around him to do certain things and do them quickly. So whether they were unwitting, naive, they were certainly co-opted as part of his plan. Why did these people, from the organisers of the rally, you know, who are going to be likely sued as well, as we've seen the Right for America in Charlottesville, that the organisers of the Charlottesville rally, they've been sued for millions. You know, there's punity coming, punitive consequences coming. If it's not going to come through the criminal courts, it's going to come through the civil courts. Okay, so let's take a look at why did they use burner phones. Judgment, to evade judgment. They knew that judgment would be inevitable if things didn't go to plan. Coming to an inevitable end tells me that this will be wound up before 2022. We'll get to know the truth before 2022, whether they answer the subpoenas or not. So again, let me assure you, I've read a number of times executive privilege resides with Biden. Now, interestingly, when I answered my rods, they did nothing. And then I really realised they did nothing because there's no question that the executive privilege resides with the current president. It's interesting the courts are now saying to the ex-president's legal team, well, you tell me why. This is why we can even decide this, because it doesn't, only under very slim circumstances, which it looks like you don't meet, does the executive privilege not reside with the current president? Okay. The burner phones, why did they use them? Show me why. Now we know why, but I want to see what the tarot cards are going to tell us. Why did they use burner phones? Just a quick one. Wish fulfillment, miracles, challenged by smoke screens. Okay, so what they all wanted, you know, and it was an emotional thing. There's nothing concrete about the Nine of Cups. This is about getting your wish. But it's challenged by the Seven of Cups, illusion and delusion. What planet were they living on? Strength. Okay, strength is the foundation of the reading. It's going to give me a esoterical type answer here. The Nine of Wands. Okay, so that is boundaries, putting a boundary around something. If something didn't work, perhaps. Now the insurrection is in the frame. The Tower card, it's happening for them as well. That is my card for the insurrection. And we have the Four of Cups. So they tried to put a smoke screen around what they were actually doing. But the strength of the law, the strength of, you know, a huge country like the US that doesn't go down to an authoritarians like the ex-president, what is a reality TV show person. You know, when they storm the Capitol. There's the Four of Cups here. Disappointment, but some cup is being offered. And I do feel that this is people really falling on their swords and snitching. I think they've already done that. I think they will continue to do it. The Magician, manipulation, the Page of Wands, information, and the Nine of Pentacles. You could even find those, the women's group that organised, one of the main organisers, could even be, really just fessing up, cutting a deal and fessing up. Because if they're not, even aside from criminal charges, we've already seen that when there's violence and people injured, there are plenty of civil suits in the offing and plenty of lawyers that will work for a cut of whatever damages that they get. So, again, everything has consequences. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you've enjoyed that reading. I think, justice can be in some ways, a bit of a blind alley. It can take a lot of twists and turns. And sometimes we just end up in the right passageway. Some of you may or may not know that I'm painting my own tarot cards. And this is I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring the laptop down. Maybe you can't. It's not going to, you're not going to be able to see that. It's just too bright. What this is a depiction of justice. Lots of alleyways, lots of blind turns, and of course, I might even, if I can, I'll post it on my Instagram page and show you. But justice isn't a straight linear path. It can take a lot of turns, is my point. So justice is playing out right now. Okay, thank you for tuning in. I'll be back again with another reading soon. Have a great weekend, everybody, if I don't speak to you soon. And bye for now.